This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Welcome, everybody, to Between the Ropes here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I'm Christy Bacon, here with Big B. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. A great day of, Sunday football. Some of the games I didn't get to really watch because I was at work, but watching this Sunday night game looks like to be a defensive battle for the most part, but it's always good to get on. We got a few weeks to catch up on wrestling here, Bad Blood, and I will maybe, I've been teasing in our chat, I'll reveal who I get to meet here in October.
Ooh. Another wrestling event for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of stuff happened in wrestling last couple weeks. Most notably, I think that NXT, the developmental brand, if you want to call it that, is now in the CW. It doesn't look like they're going to be performing at the Performance Center anymore. More of a traveling roadshow now. Have you watched any of the new NXT? And
yeah, I kind of like the fact that they are now going into bigger crowds. I think they did it right. I think they did it, got small enough or did it in their little performance center. Now branching out, getting those wrestlers ready to be in bigger arenas, bigger venues in front of more fans.
mm-hmm.
Something that AEW I think should have taken a little playbook out of and maybe started. I know they started during the COVID, so it was kind of rough when they came out. But I think I think the belt. I don't think they really needed to change the belt look, but I like how they opened the first premiere on CW, and so far the 2 weeks I've enjoyed watching them. So
yeah, from what I can tell, it looks good. They rebranded their logo in the color scheme. It's more of a black and silver. They got a couple new belts too. And I think the overall look and presentation looks good. They had a couple of heavy hitters, so to speak, in CM Punk coming on the premiere episode. And in their following episode, they had Orton out there and kind of, Matt going toe-to-toe with the new generation of wrestlers, so to speak. And I think that helps talent too. There, even though they're not on the main roster, they get to match up with main roster opponents.
Yeah, I think it does help. I think it just gives them a chance to get the big time vibe when guys like CM Punk, Street Profits, the Bloodline. Ziggler was down there for a while when he was there, but I think it just gives them that big feel and gets to know. They get to pick their brain and okay, what's it going to take me to get up there? What do I need to do? What do I need to change? And them just getting out on the road also helps them. And hopefully, I kind of see them trying to develop themselves, as a big time brand. I mean, you got Raw, you got SmackDown, you got AEW, you got Impact, you got AEW. Now you got NXT. So I mean, you got pretty much good wrestling to watch every day of the week if you can find all of them. So
Yeah, and even if you record them or
yep.
have a way to watch them, it's just finding the time. That's the big thing, is finding the time to do it. And that's the difficult part, I think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if we put it into other terms, if we put it in other term, other sport terms, Raw is a class act. They're the Yankees, the Dodgers. Everybody's going to want to be on that show. SmackDown, AEW, kind of, I think, are fighting for the number 2 spot in ratings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for what?
NXT, probably going to fight with Impact for some ratings, but I mean, overall, we know WWE is the top dog. That's where everybody wants to be, but don't sit on these other brands if they can start putting it together, get the right people in the right spot.
That's right. It just takes something. I don't know what it is, but
well, I think everybody's kind of nice spin move.
To get it.
What it's going to take AEW. I mean, TNA did it and got popular a little bit when Hogan showed up, Bischoff, but they definitely are trying to run it old school way. AEW, I think it's just going to take one big burst to come out. I think it's more a reality now than it was back when AEW started. When it's going to happen, I don't know, but I think we're going to see McMahon, Shane, preferably showing up on AEW sooner than later. So
yeah, I've heard that too a couple times, that Shane could be jumping over there, and it looks like there's some falling out in that Vince McMahon interview or documentary. I have not seen that, but
I watched some of that documentary. Yeah. What, between Shane and Vince?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a falling out. But that documentary, that documentary didn't really give me anything I didn't know. I mean, per se. And it was just more. It wasn't more about Vince like I thought it was going to be. It was more about this is why I did this. This is this is why I fought my dad on WrestleMania. This is all this stuff, and it wasn't stuff I didn't know already. If you watch other documentaries and read reports and stuff like that, so to me it was
more justifying things.
Yeah, it was just another money build for Netflix and Vince, I think, to put money in their pockets, get people to watch. But yeah, it wasn't nothing I didn't really know. But yeah, Vince and Shane seem to have somewhat of a falling out, which I think was pertaining to some of on-screen stuff that he did and behind the scenes, but what we don't know the full story. We may never know, but that Vince documentary. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Let me know how you think. I don't need to watch it again. If that's if anybody's wondering. So
right, yeah. Another thing that WWE has done since we've been away was moving over to USA Network SmackDown. They kind of had to refresh, a new look. We kind of talked about it a little bit. New intro, new logo, new everything. And it's been a few weeks for that one. What's your thoughts on that and just the overall presentation? And,
I mean, change is good, especially in the wrestling world. We'll see. I mean, they got Jay back now, so I think they're going to build towards the War Games as we all been talking about. We'll see how that plan comes to place. But the new logo I still kind of get used to. The new intro, it's fine. I just,
Been better.
to me, they didn't really change anything. I mean, if they really wanted to spice things up, I mean, I know it's the blue brand, but maybe different color scheme or something. But
Black and
it's,
blue.
it's still nothing that so to me, it's still SmackDown.
It kind of has it kind of has a retro look to it, I think. From
Yeah,
previous.
a little bit. I mean, I still think that it was cool when they had the big fist out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Breaking through the wall or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. So I mean, Raw could use a different type of stage setup or something. I mean, they're just kind of bland.
Yeah, both Raw and SmackDown kind of use the same stage setup, and even their pay-per-views do too.
Yeah.
And it looks like both Raw and SmackDown, and probably NXT when the new year comes, is get a new stage design. Hopefully, pay-per-views get their own custom design every so often.
Yeah.
I know
That'll be interesting to see what the NXT Netflix
deal
move does, and what kind of input they have on what they want and stuff. I know there was some rumors that I read that Netflix wants their first Raw to have Cody Rhodes versus Rock on there for the title, which makes zero sense. So I don't know if that was just somebody trying to get some clickbait out there, if that's actually something they've heard.
unless they make it a known contest or a count out or something where Cody can keep it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But at the same time, Rock has control. So
yeah, so it'll be interesting, and I hope, I mean, I know The Rock wants to be a big part of WWE, and I just hope that he is fair and doesn't make it about his family and him and stuff like that. I mean, the storyline right now is good, and hopefully once it runs its course, he kind of goes away from it. Because as we all know, he's the president of.
I don't know the exact title.
Yeah,
TKO and all that.
Yeah, something to do with TKO. So, but yeah, I mean, we saw Jay return. I mean, that was a good return. So, I like that. That was at Bad Blood. That was a good return there. Bad Blood overall. Opened up with the. I still have not watched the whole thing, but opened up with the Hell in a Cell match.
What's your thoughts on it? Because everybody's saying that it's one of the not the best, but one of the top matchups of that.
Matchup wise, it was good. I mean, I gotta really sit down and watch it. I mean, I saw the ending. I saw some of it, the highlights and stuff. From what I saw, it turned out exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a good old slobber knocker, which I would have built it out and just told them, go out there and you guys steal the show and do what you got to do, what you think is right. Because I mean, they went deep into the storyline. I mean, they went into pretty much
everything.
Drew McIntyre just getting into the past of CM Punk and bringing his family involved and taking the bracelet that his kid made, and so So the only way to end that storyline was to have a Hell in a Cell like they did, where it was just you guys go out there and you just be safe, but just beat the hell out of each other. And I think that's what they did. I mean, you know,
Christy saying that it should have main evented Bad Blood.
yeah, it should not have been the opener. But they're kind of taking a page out of AEW's book and trying to put like a banger of a match at the open, and then turn around and put a couple good matches in the middle, and then closing out with the banger. Because you got to keep those people like you guys got. WWE figured they got to keep those people like Dragon Viper, enthused into the matches all the time. So
yeah. I mean, I thought the match order could have been better because after the Hell in a Cell match, you have Nia Jax and Bayley. Nia Jax kept her title.
yeah.
But we kind of saw another tease from Tiffany Stratton of cashing in, and maybe at some point she will.
Yeah, that whole tease is getting old. I liked it back in the day where, when they cashed in, I mean, they talked about, they teased it. Yeah, you just never look. But, when they came down, you knew that that Money in the Bank was going to be cashed in. And now it's, now they're teasing it and, and stuff like that. And
I don't mind them teasing it, but when they come out with it.
Well, yeah, I don't mind the promos where they tease it, or maybe if they're strutting down during the match, okay, you're gonna kind of tease it, but like at the end of the match there when they're laying there and she's coming flying out there, and then she pops up like she's the Undertaker. That's getting kind of old. It's just like let her cash it in, win or lose, but just let her cash it in. I mean.
Yeah.
And it's not that because she's a Minnesota person, but I just let her cash in. She's the hot thing going right now. That's one thing that WWE does not do well on is they don't cash in when the person's hot. I don't think.
Well, or they kind of did with LA Knight. Finally.
Yeah, a little bit with LA Knight. Jimmy, they finally cashed in with. You have. Now the Y6 are gone. Who knows when they're going to return? Who else am I missing? I know I'm missing somebody else there. The Final Testament's been pretty hot. So, yeah. So sometimes, but it seems like they do it a little bit too late, I think.
I think so too. And Chrissy Wilson saying she might cash in at Survivor Series. You never know. Now, on the last SmackDown this past week, Nia Jax had like this, we'll call it a plan. I don't know if that's really a plan, but of, cashing in on Liv Morgan, I think it was, at Crown Jewel.
Yep.
Because there's a special match between all of the champions now in their divisions, but the main titles.
Yeah.
Were kind of like a Survivor Series matchup. Champion.
Yeah. I don't know if I mean, okay, yeah, you have your champion battle. Well, if it's going to be the first annual, so next year, whoever the champions are going to battle again. So now you're going to get whoever this year's champion is. Next year, it's going to be so and so. I don't know. Maybe it's something. Yeah, I just don't get the concept behind it. Do we really need another belt? I mean, can't we just say, round one is this year? I don't know. Right. I don't get the concept.
I think it's more because Survivor Series doesn't have that one-on-one matchup with the champions anymore. I think they're just kind of using that at Crown Jewel, and then they get some kind of belt.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Can we,
Strowman still has the belt for the greatest Royal Rumble winner, and
I was gonna say,
so,
can we put that one up for grabs 1 year? I mean, just saying, we could use that maybe. Uh, but yeah, that was their big announcement for Crown Jewel, or for that bad boy for that Crown Jewel pay-per-view in a few weeks. Damian Priest and Finn Balor had their match where Damian Priest won. It was an okay match.
yeah, I mean, as much as Finn is like, yeah, I don't need you guys. You knew they were going to come out. Because I don't know who you would else get, but it would have been kind of cool to see somebody come out on Damian's side to kind of even the odds a little bit. I just don't know.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Bad Bunny might have been a good one. Maybe Braun Strowman come out. I know he's had a feud with them.
Right.
So, but it was a good match. I mean, the winner was who it was. Thought it was going to be. So,
same.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley defeated Liv Morgan, basically by disqualification, because Raquel is now back in the picture.
Yep.
Now joining Judgment Day. So.
Yeah, I don't. Well,
she's kind of joined them.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out because are they trying to push Judgment Day apart some more and have Liv and Dominic and Raquel kind of be a branch off of them? I don't. I mean, I like the stable. I actually like these three together. It did come out that it was a botch ending because we all saw Raquel kind of throw Liv on top of Rhea right at the end there and kind of shrug her shoulders like what happened. So so the ref had to change the ending quick because she came out too early, I think it was, they said. So it had to go to disqualification. But Dominic playing that he's afraid of heights was perfect. Falling out of the cage that was not locked. I mean, that was obvious, Yeah, when he fell out, that was actually. It was first. I was just like, "Oh my god!" He just fell out. And then when he was tied up there, I'm just like, "Okay, that was a cool setup." Maybe because that could have been ugly if he would have actually fell out. I mean,
oh yeah,
But then to take the kendo stick and use them as a pinata, that was pretty good, and that's when Raquel came out. So it'll be interesting to see where those three go. Of course, you're probably going to get Raquel versus Rhea sooner than later. Maybe overseas at Crown Jewel. Who knows? Ooh, Danny Dimes just got hit. But yeah.
Christy Wilson says Priest and Balor didn't wow me.
No, I'm with her on that. I don't think Dragon Viper probably would have said that was probably the match of the night, but yeah, no, that match didn't wow me at all.
Raquel messed up her return, and the crowd had no reaction to her.
Yeah, it's not that they didn't have. I mean, she messed up the return. The non-reaction. I mean, I think it was one of those where everybody was just kind of shocked.
Well, and not only that, but when they change their look and appearance a little bit, I kind of go, "Who's that?" And then they mention it, it's like, "Oh, okay." But it takes me a little bit for a return sometimes if they don't play their music.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they actually kind of kept this one hidden because I mean, typically when somebody's planning on return, there's inklings and hey, so spotted at the performance center working out, and
I
nothing was said. So that's kind of cool.
I heard rumor of she was planning a return, but there's no timetable when she was returning,
Yeah.
and that was just pure speculation.
Yep.
Uh,
Uh,
Christy also said, "I thought when she started beating down with a kendo stick, uh, while he was upside down." Oh, I
yeah.
laughed.
Yeah. I laughed too. I thought that was a great bit. I thought that was a great they add to the match.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Let's see. We also had the main event, which it wasn't a bad match. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns defeated the bloodline of Solo Sikoa and Solo and Jacob.
Yeah.
With Jimmy returning, which we mentioned, uh, kind of setting up this bloodline versus bloodline storyline.
Yep, I think they're gonna set that up with Jimmy return. Yeah, the match itself was decent, good action. I think all four held their own, did what they had to do. Seeing Jake come out from underneath the ring, kind of was like, really, you guys had him under the ring for his return. That was kind of you
You couldn't
know
play you couldn't play his music and he runs out to help.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, every time one of the Usos has shown up on a sneak attack, it's always been through the crowd. It's just like you couldn't have done that, or, yeah. I don't know. When that's one thing I hate about the media. They ruin things like that because, uh, yeah. I don't know. It just ruined it.
Because they said that, or
What's that?
because they said he was under the ring, or
Well, when if you see it, some people posted clips on that he came sliding out from under the ring. So
yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
yeah, so it's just like that's the one thing I hate about the internet is just like you just kind of ruined that he was under the ring the whole time, and that's how he returned. So I like the fact that he just showed up behind them. I mean, that was kind of cool. So
yeah, that's what they want you to think. And then
yeah,
I think a fan posted that video, and yeah, I've heard different stuff about like Royal Rumbles and stuff of how they do all that. It just takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
the Royal Rumble's another one too. I love the event, but it's just like if you really watch it, study the storylines, it's just like, okay, this person's going to come out here. Okay, who's the surprise is like the biggest thing now, but WWF almost gives away who's coming out, with the storylines and stuff. So
yeah, it's like I'm going to declare for the Rumble.
Well, not even declare for the Rumble, but it's just like, when Jay came, I think it was last year when, the Usos started. It's just like, okay, this is brother versus brother. They, started battling, especially that was when they kicked them out. So it's like, okay, you knew that was going to happen. And then, so they need to figure it out. I mean, I still love the Rumble, but, But yeah, the match itself was pretty decent. Return, Jay and Roman, now getting that original bloodline possibly together. Again, all speculation. So,
well, I mean, they're trying because on this past week's SmackDown, they had Roman and Jay, Jimmy had the promo, and they're like, "We need help," and everybody's starting to
Yeah.
chant eat, and
Yep.
Roman's like, no yeet.
Yeah. Yeah. So unless they throw a curve at us, I think we're going to get Jay and Roman to battle. Somehow they're going to get Roman's going to talk Jimmy into it. Maybe Sammy. You know, like I said, if I was to book this in the SummerSlam War Games, I think everybody would agree with me that you build it up with the original versus the new bloodline. You do something at the Survivor Series where Sammy gets hurt, or Jimmy gets hurt, but most likely Sammy, and then you have Brock Lesnar show up as the fourth man to revenge Paul Heyman. I mean, I honestly think that's the only way that match is going to be worth anything.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Brock Lesnar's back on the roster.
Yeah. And maybe if it's not Brock, now that CM Punk said he was going home for a while, maybe it's CM Punk, but I still think I still think you got to do Brock if it's up to me.
That would be a good idea. I mean, it just depends on how it goes, I guess, with Brock.
Yep. Yeah. Well, he's on the main roster, so they got a plan for him. Another match that's possibly going to happen, but not at Crown Jewel. Possibly down the road, we get Gunther versus Adam Barber's favorite guy. Adam Barber's favorite Goldberg. Yep. Yep. We got that a tease. I can't say I'm thrilled about it. I would have preferred, they teased it a little bit before the suspensions and stuff.
Yeah. I think they're going to get one or two Goldberg retirement matches, but
yeah. Well, I don't know. I really think WWE wanted Brock versus Gunther. They kind of teased it. Now I think they probably have different plans for Brock. So Goldberg's the next up, but we'll see. We'll see where they go.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. Christy had a question. She says, "Do you have JB a part of Team Roman as the IC champ?"
Ooh. Let's see. The current IC champ is Jay. No, big question. Do you have Jay as part? You mean Jimmy?
No, I think Jay joined.
Oh, main event Jay.
Team.
Yeah, Jay's the IC champ. Survivor Series. He missed it. The Survivor Series. Yeah, the titles don't matter anymore. They're not going to have, champion defend the title. Jay, they can't take the title off of Jay right now.
Well, plus you remember it, and it doesn't matter which side of the bloodline you're on. The bloodline wants all the gold.
Yeah.
So if you have Jay Uso, IC champ, maybe you have Jimmy as United States champion. Who knows?
Honestly, it's too early for. You brought Jay back. I mean, maybe not this year. Jay gets it, or Jimmy gets his singles title. Maybe early next year. I got to see how he copes being by himself. I mean, because every match he's been in, most of them have been tag matches with somebody. So, where Jay has proven that he can carry the load of himself and his hype, can Jimmy do it? So we'll see.
Although, Jimmy fought Solo this past week. Didn't go
Yeah,
too well, but
yeah. I mean, that's another thing too. Is then Roman comes out. You got the beat down. I was kind of thinking possibly you get to see you would have Jay come down and start that. So maybe it'll be a couple beat downs that Roman and Jimmy take before Jay shows up. So yeah, so
and one other thing that happened after Bad Blood was Kevin Owens attacked Cody Rhodes outside of his bus after the event. It was somebody filmed it. I'm sure WWE did. And then it kind of spilled over to SmackDown, where he was trying to justify what happened, and I think it ended up turning on Randy Orton turning on Kevin Owens, or the other way around.
yeah, another storyline that just, I mean, Kevin Owens is tough to say because he's a believable good guy, but he's a better bad guy or heel. So him turning on everybody just makes sense. Getting kind of old. Just leave him as a heel because that's what he's good at. Orton on the other hand, I mean, he could play both sides of the coin. So yeah, the jump after Bad Blood, I thought was just a joke. Made no sense. I think it would have been better sense if you wanted a jump to happen or a brawl to happen, then you get him jumped as he's entering in his Rhodes bus or something, the Nightmare bus or whatever. And then you play it out like, okay, who jumped me? I'm getting down to the bottom of it. Even though that storyline's been played out, I think it would have been made more sense that way. But yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see some kind of triple threat match somehow between Rhodes and Orton and Owens. So yeah.
Chrissy Wilson says that Gunther versus Goldberg doesn't excite her. It doesn't me either, but I can see why, giving him that retirement match.
The only person that match excites is going to be Adam. I mean, we all know that Ace is going to be all up in arms with that match. So yeah, that one. I mean, as much as I give Adam crap about him liking Goldberg or not liking Goldberg, I'm sorry. You're a I hate to get out of Goldberg's backside, but you're a three move pony there, buddy. I mean, wrestling is a time of the high flyers, the guys that can move, guys that can do more than 3-4 moves at a time. I honestly think Goldberg would not be Goldberg if he was in today's wrestling.
Put him in the last man standing match.
Honestly, that's the only match this match would have to be is like a no DQ match or a last man standing match to make it believable. Because honestly, Gunther is well beyond Goldberg's stature. I mean,
Oh yeah, and Chrissy also said that Kevin Owens made her mad because he interrupted the women's tag match just so he could try and explain himself. Now, it kind of reminds me of when he had it out with Shane at one time.
Yeah.
And Shane kind of kept cutting his mic off.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of that storyline a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where, I mean, if you watch wrestling over the years, the storylines get replayed all the time. This one, and honestly, I didn't forget about that storyline that you just mentioned. I just forgot who was involved with it. Because part of me, I'm like, well, that's a replay of Kevin Owens and and Chris Jericho. And I'm like, or is it the Miz and Shane, or is it?
It
You know,
could
so I
be
kind of
Miz Shane.
yeah, but so yeah, so I mean, honestly, Kevin Owens' contract comes up. It would not surprise me if he goes somewhere else. I mean, because they're not doing much with him.
He signed a new
Uh,
contract, I thought.
he probably did. I mean, but I just, he's not really a main event guy, but he's not a undercard guy, and he's not really a mid card guy. I guess. I mean, so I don't know what they would. I honestly don't know how I would book him. I don't know.
That's a comp. I feel like booking shows is kind of a complicated feat sometimes because you want
Well,
to use everybody, but you don't want to use everybody at once.
well, that's one thing I've been saying for quite a while is, you know, you know, you get the talent, I get it, but you still got to build the storylines, and a month or 2 or 3, just might not cut it for how you want to tell. And I mean, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Hogan, they all set a good storyline is how it starts to finish. It's not just go out there and do it. It's how you tell it, how what the promos are and stuff like that. And I honestly just don't know what I would do with Kevin Owens right now. I mean, we all sit there and say, "Oh yeah, for booking, I do it this way, I do it that way," and in my mind it works great, but we gotta remember what the fans want.
Right. I guess what you could do if you're a wrestling, booker kind of thing, is say the first month you schedule it the way you think it should be, and then maybe put out shows that you think might work and take it to the fans.
Yep. I
Because
mean, right now, I mean, I hate to say it, but AEW's probably got a couple very cool storylines going with, Daniel Bryan and John Moxley, MJF, and I saw the returning of Adam Cole, Hangman Page and Strickland was a good storyline. Now it's who am I thinking of? Hook and the people that jumped his dad, put him in the hospital supposedly. So, I mean, honestly, AEW's storylines are a little bit better, storytelling than WWE is right now.
well, they have 20 matches on the pay-per-view card. Okay, maybe
Well,
not that
yeah. I mean,
They have
yeah. I mean,
lots.
and that's the thing with AEW is that they're trying to get all their talent in on all their big shows, and it's working to a point. So, but outside of that, it's just one of those things where I mean, maybe WWE will get to it. Maybe and honestly, guys, everybody that's rooting for the 2 hour, it's not going to work. They'll go back to 3. I wish SmackDown would go to 3. I wish NXT would go to 3. I mean, NXT is fine at 2 hours, but the other 2 big shows, they just don't have enough time. And if they cut Raw to 2 hours, it's it won't last. I'll tell you right now, by this time next year, by WrestleMania season, Raw will be back to 3 hours.
So
and that's not a prediction; that's a spoiler.
All right, Heyman. No, but what I heard was, yeah, Raw's going to be 2 hours the rest of the year, the rest of 2024. When Raw moves to when Raw moves to Netflix, they're going to get the 3 hours back. Next year.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just they're going to 2 hours. I almost bet Netflix wants to see what the ratings are going to be like for 2 hours, but I bet you it'll go to 3 hours.
Yeah, they already said that.
Yeah. Oh, did they? Okay. See, I thought
Yeah.
Netflix was planning on them going to 2 hours. That's why they cut it now to 2 hours.
No,
So
it might be more than 3 hours, but because they can do whatever they want over
yeah,
Netflix.
and maybe that's what they do. Maybe it is one of those things where, I mean, WCW was always good for that too, where it's scheduled for 3 hours, but hey, we got this main event that started 10 minutes right before the end of the show. We might go over, and
It could be 4 hours. We don't know.
Yeah.
But that's going on. And then they said from
Okay. So maybe you saw this, maybe I did, maybe I missed it. Once it goes to Netflix, is it going to be commercial free?
I heard yes, and then I heard no. I think it's yes if you have if you don't have if you do have commercial free or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, because I mean that might play a factor too. If it's not commercial free, then hey, you got another 20 minutes or so. So maybe 2 hours would work.
I think it's like Peacock. I think it's like Peacock, where if you have some paid version, you don't have to worry about commercials.
So then you wouldn't get it live then if you
would.
So not if you have commercials. I mean, if you're paying for the basic subscription that has to have commercials, you're not going to get that live then.
Oh, that's true. I'll have to look at more than that. But I also heard that SmackDown at the start of the year for like 6 months, you're going to get 3-hour SmackDowns.
Well, yeah, that's probably to drive up.
Because USA is going to compromise for losing Raw in NXT.
Yeah, see, I think right now, I mean, I think Raw needs to be 3 hours, SmackDown 3 hours, NXT, kind of got to build up there, but I don't think NXT's roster is as big as like both of those, so they can do a 2-hour show. So what else we got to cover there, Chris?
And then jumping to kind of back to AEW, they got their TV deal done with Warner Brothers Discovery and and Max, where pay-per-views will be on there now, but of course you have to pay, but not the $45 or whatever that you have to pay now. And the entire library of Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision, as well as I believe pay-per-views, will be on Max as well.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, AEW needs something like that. No, I'm sorry. You said Impact?
Not Impact. Rampage.
Dynamite, it was AEW. Okay. Yeah, AEW needs something like that. I mean, I thought they did good with that deal they struck with YouTube, which I don't know if they still do their show on there, but even speaking of YouTube, NWA was always good on there. I thought that was kind of a good feel for them. The one thing that a lot of promotions are missing, and it seems like Impact missed it too, is that following, is that big deal. So I mean, it just seems like I don't know how Impact is hanging on. I know they got the open partnership with WWE, which maybe that's helping out. And I mean, I haven't seen Joe Henry on AEW the last few weeks, so maybe they stopped with that for a while. But I always thought that was kind of cool. So,
well, and I think too, I think I saw a clip from one of their shows where he's going to be in a championship match at their next pay-per-view.
Well, see, that's the thing too, is that's the thing is they capitalize on his stardom and that deal. So,
and it's gonna be interesting what's going on there. We have MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin in AEW now. and I guess Leo Rush is signed there too. The last few days.
Did Bobby Lashley finally show up or no?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, he did show up.
Him MVP, well, not at once, but him.
Well, yeah, MVP showed up first, and then Shelton Benjamin showed up as the what do you call him, the CEO of his talent scout or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, so I knew Benjamin or Lashley was coming. I didn't know how soon they were going to bring him out. So now they're only missing.
And they re-signed Leo Rush back.
What's that?
They signed Leo Rush back.
All right, another Adam's favorite guy. Who am I thinking of? Who am I missing? Her business. It was Lashley. It was
Cedric Alexander.
No, it wasn't Alexander. Was it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
What was his name? Cedric. They turned on Cedric. Jesse, what was his name? I know you're here.
Let's see. Let me research it.
What the heck was his name? Cedric Alexander. No. Benjamin. Oh man, I am blanking. I can see his picture. I can see his name or face.
I'm looking. Hold on 1 second. So you had Bobby Lashley, MVP, Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, what's Cedric Alexander? Okay, I'm thinking of somebody else. Okay. Yeah. So they bring him in. They got the. But I have a feeling we're going to see Strickland join that group. I think we're going to see Strickland join that group as the fourth.
Well, it could be Leo.
Well, Leo Rush, yeah, will be a mouthpiece, but I don't think they really need it. They got MVP there, but I think,
maybe to be Leo, Lashley's bodyguard again.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it wasn't shocking that MVP showed up. I have to see I have to watch some clips to find out how they brought Benjamin into the group.
And then you have looks like Rampage is ending.
Is it ending?
Not surprised.
Gotcha.
There's reports of it, yeah.
Okay.
In a few weeks, it reports. What else you got, baby?
Nothing. And it looks like we're getting close to wrapping up the show. With that being said, I got nothing else besides my breaking news. So,
what's your breaking news?
All right. So if you guys follow me on Facebook or follow can't follow our chat unless you're in it. We do a wrestling show. You guys know I'm a big wrestling fan myself. Been throwing out there MAW, Mid All-Star Wrestling. I follow. If you guys live in Minnesota, you guys know what I'm talking about. They got a great card coming up October 26th. I'm sorry, 4 days after my birthday. We have what we're calling the main event, WrestleMania, headlined by, which I think is going to be a good match, JDX versus Paul Burke. But the main event actually is Mustafa Ali versus Ultimate Dragon, which will be a good match. Don't get me wrong. Got some meet and greets coming. Leader's going to be there. Kelly, Mickey James, Jacqueline. Of course, Psycho Sid was supposed to be there, which we know happened there. Raven was supposed to be there. They have now announced Raven's out. Booker T is in as the acting commissioner for that night. And the other day, they also announced Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner is going to be joining.
Cool.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's the big news. So I can't wait. My pocketbook can because it's going to be broke. So with that being said, I'm good. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, it should be a fun show. We'll keep y'all updated on that, and I'm sure Big B will as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chrissy, for coming. Thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. We'll be back next week for Between the Ropes with that. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great evening.
All right, have a good one.